Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another incredible episode of our Journeys podcast series, where we take a moment to sit down with some of our incredible community members talking about their journey within the Anaplan ecosystem. Today, I'm joined by Jon and Zack, and we're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff, right? Yes. All right. So let's get down to it. Tell me, when did you enter the Anaplan ecosystem?
We actually kind of joined the Anaplan ecosystem back in 2017. Yeah, like what would you say, 3 months apart from each other?
Maximum 3 months.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yep.
We joined the Anaplan support team, being part of customer care. Kind of worked our way up there. I did a little bit of a stint as an SDR too, so I got a little bit of taste of kind of all areas of Anaplan, and then jumping into the consulting game and doing a little bit more hands-on with the model building and working with the platform. Yeah, we've kind of seen it all, but yeah, 2017 is where it all started for us.
Yeah, similar story. Joined in at 2017, coming from Best Buy Corporate Geek Squad, so helping build up the support team, bringing some of those customer-first expectations over, and I focused more on the difficult things like data integrations, more technical bug explanations. So I really took a kin to that, or liking to that. Then I moved over into Salesforce, helping out with the case portal and some of the Salesforce internally at Anaplan, and then move over into consulting as well for Salesforce, and then back into Anaplan. I can't get away from it.
Incredible. It just it pulls you back in, right?
It does.
I mean, that's what they tell me.
Yeah. It connects you.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good. Talk to me. Why Anaplan? Why were you both at that time in your careers? What brought you here?
Yeah. So, like I said, I moved to Minnesota for Best Buy Corporate.
Yeah.
I went there and I did a lot of the corporate technical support. I'm very hardware, software focused. I'm a computer geek.
Yeah.
And I had two colleagues that moved over into Anaplan on the support team, and they just couldn't stop raving about their experience as customer support. I said, let me try this out. What is even connected planning? I barely know Excel to that level. And I came over and I was just blown away at what innovation we had in the software space so early. And I just wanted more, to learn more, and that branched out into other softwares. But Anaplan always keeps me guessing, keeps me wanting to learn more. And just when you think you figured it out, a new best practice comes out, thanks Rob, and you have to learn again.
Absolutely. How about yourself? Kind of a similar thing?
Well, actually for me, I was fresh out of college, looking for a job, and stumbled upon a product analyst role, which I thought was a completely different thing at the time. Ended up applying for it, and the talent acquisition team was awesome, and I think at the time it just went to show like who worked at Anaplan. I think that's what really drew me to the company, and I didn't really care what the role is. It was a foot in the door at the time, and I loved just the people that were involved in that process. And from there, it ended up kind of growing into what it is now. So it was more of like a happy kind of circumstance that it all happened that way.
Yeah. Right? It's funny that you say people, right? Because I think that's why a lot of us gravitated to it too. I started about 2 years ago on the community team, and every time I get a chance to talk to folks who've been in the ecosystem for a while, it's kind of the same sort of thing, right? Like I hear about the community, I hear about folks, mentors, mentorship, things like that. And the culture here at Anaplan is so strong that obviously bled into our incredible community too. Talk to me a little bit about the Anaplan community and maybe what that's done for the two of you guys over the last few years.
Yeah, I think to your point, community is strong, right? You can do a job that's not so enjoyable. If you're doing it with great people, it makes it better. Obviously, Anaplan's amazing software. The community's even better. But I think in terms of mentoring you, helping you develop, we have a lot of people that come out of college, got their first start here. They're inexperienced in the working world. They're inexperienced in the software world, and people are so willing to take you under their wing, teach you what they've learned, teach you the shortcuts so you don't make the same mistakes. And then the more public community, no question is asked that's scrutinized. You can ask as simple and as basic a question about Anaplan, and people are willing to help you and break it down and take it offline in the side conversation. I think that's amazing, and you see it in other places too, but Anaplan really thrives off the community because there's no technical guide on how to do it. The world's your Easter egg in Anaplan, so you need people to help guide you through their industry expertise, and I love the community.
I love to hear that. I do too. How do you feel about the community? Tell me about your feelings. Yeah.
Well, the only thing that, like, John kind of said it perfectly. Was like, the only thing I will add is that it's just all you have to do is ask, and I think it's the simplicity of that, is the willingness of everyone to help, and that's where it started for me. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, what was going on, and it was just as simple as starting to ask some questions and people connecting me with the right people and where I needed to go and things I needed to learn. So
incredible.
Yeah.
How long were the two of you at Anaplan?
You were there the longest.
Yeah. Almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's a run.
Yep.
Just shy of 4 years as well. Yeah. I left in towards the end of 2020.
Yep. And you both kind of moved through different roles within Anaplan, right? That's what you were saying earlier. When you decided to make the jump to consulting, what was that like? It's a loaded question.
Yeah. Well, for me, I started out kind of like in the technical side of it. I was always told that, you have these social skills and people like, collaborating with you, talking with you, working with you. So try to be a little bit more customer facing. So I did the sales thing, and I think that the consulting was just the perfect merging of both worlds. So that's, it was only natural for me to kind of work my way into that. Definitely a totally different world, different landscape to get used to, but I've really enjoyed, the challenges that it's brought in.
Did you feel like it was a huge learning curve when you were moving into that?
Yeah, I think the biggest is that, you come in and learn all of these great technical things that you want to teach to the customer, that you want to help implement for the customer. But the biggest thing is just making sure that regardless of those things, that you're listening to them and hearing what they are saying, because all the technical things are great, but it's really what they need and what they want that's going to help them in the long run. So
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and for me, I've always had a gift of explaining the highly technical to the more layman. So consulting really is that. You're taking these high technical abilities of a platform. The customer doesn't need to know the ins and outs. There's a saying that when I was in the Army, they talked about, is I don't need to know how you make the BLT, I just want the sandwich. And in consulting, we could take those technical things and explain the whys of how you would want to build something and why you wouldn't, and also just provide insight from all of our experience to the customer. And that's a big thing about consulting versus working specifically at a customer, is you get all of this experience all the time. You're constantly moving from use case to use case, and you're becoming an expert every day.
Yeah. So. One of the things that I'm always blown away by here is how complicated Anaplan is. But when I talk to folks like yourselves, it sounds pretty easy. So how do you when you're talking to someone who's trying to learn, a layman, if you will, like myself, what's the approach there? Is it you're trying to hear what their problem is and you're going to tell them how to solve it, or is there how do you both go into that?
Yeah, I think to be an effective consultant, you have to have a funnel. Like Zack mentioned, all of this technical expertise. We worked on Anaplan's back end. We know the architecture and how it works. But if we just unload that on a customer, half of it's going to stick, the other half's going to be confusing. So you really have to funnel in what's important for the exact task that you're trying to accomplish. And I know Zack, I'll let him take over. Discovery is huge. Listening to the customer, finding out what their true problems are, but keeping them involved every step of the way is big.
Yeah. Zack, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah. I think we're working with really smart people. I mean, especially on the client side, they know what they need to do. They know what they need to get done. And I think it's starting with asking them those things like, what are you trying to accomplish? And then when you can break it down from there, I think it's a lot easier to teach out the Anaplan technical side of it, because when you're starting to translate it into concepts that they're already very, very aware and of. So I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Talk to me how long you guys been in the consulting world, and what's maybe something that you could share with the audience about, like, if they were looking to transition into?
Yeah, well,
kind of a loaded question. Yeah.
It is, and I'll even fire back with a loaded answer.
Please.
So technically, I would say we've been in the consulting business since we started Anaplan.
Great answer.
We're helping the customers solve problems. We're often doing it from a position of not being expert model builders on the software support team, But moving into the actual consulting partner side and then running our own business as consultants, we've been doing that for 1.5 years now independently and over 2.5 years with partners.
Incredible.
Yeah. Do you have something to add?
No, I mean, ultimately, we kind of consulted consultants when we were, on the support team. So it was good to collaborate and work with them and help them solve customer issues from that aspect. And then it was only natural for it to grow into us kind of doing it more directly ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What's the future? What's the future looking like, guys?
I
know.
That's
an even bigger
The
question,
trick is
right?
if we agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm putting you guys against each other. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to kind of what you guys are doing on the community team, we want to create content. We want to kind of broaden this ecosystem, this community at large, and make it easier for other people to have access to it, to learn more about it. And obviously we try to do that through our podcast, through LinkedIn posts that we create. But I think it's just expanding that is probably one of our bigger goals. And I'll let you kind of add to that.
I think you teed it up nicely. One of our missions is pay it forward, and it brings it back to the community. The community's been there for us. They give without asking, and that's kind of what we want to do. One of our biggest objectives when we worked for the product support team was to document. Write the things down so somebody that comes after you knows. So we're trying to do that. We're creating content. We're bringing experts into the podcast. We're trying to talk about the industry as a whole, the ecosystem, and how it's growing and how we can help it grow. So the future is continuing to build content, go where no other partners are going, and provide for customers always, having them at the forefront of our plans.
It's incredible. Yeah. Gentlemen, what else? Is there anything else that you want to impart to our incredible audience? This is your platform.
I would just say, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Whether it's us, I think we have plenty of resources out there and, different ways to contact us. But, I think the Anaplan community page is a great place to start if you don't know where. So,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Community.anaplan.com. Just wanted to let everybody
Nice plug.
know. Yep. John, anything else?
No, I think Zach hit it on the head. David Smith once said, you don't get if you don't ask. So if you need help, definitely reach out. Community's there for you. Partners are there for you. The people at Anaplan are so amazing with their knowledge and being forthcoming with that. But let's grow the ecosystem together. Let's grow the community.
Love to hear that. Zack, John, thank you so much for being a part of this, being here in San Diego with us. Great to see you. Great to meet the two of you. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode. And you can always see us on community.anaplan.com. Second plug, pretty good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.